Nashville.
This is NBC Nightly News with Roger Mudd in Washington, Tom Brokaw in New York, and commentary by John Chancellor.
Good evening. All of the arrangements for the withdrawal of the PLO from West Beirut now have been completed, and the countdown is on in that embattled city. Today, the PLO turned over 2 Israelis captured during the fighting and returned the bodies of 9 Israelis killed in this war and earlier battles. More now from Vic Aiken in West Beirut.
Israeli soldier and the pilot captured by the PLO were handed over to the Red Cross at PLO headquarters in Beirut. Their release removes the last obstacle in the way of the evacuation plan.
A few minutes later, a Red Cross truck carrying the bodies of 9 dead Israeli soldiers came through to complete the transfer. As the handover was being made at the port, PLO Chairman Yasser Arafat drove through the Arab University area of West Beirut, saying goodbye to his fighters and their families.
Everything is going smoothly.
Beirut Port. Tomorrow, French paratroopers, the first contingent of the multinational force, will take up position here. Then later, about 1,000 PLO fighters are expected to begin the evacuation. This morning, a Red Cross convoy moved through the Israeli checkpoint. It carried 30 tons of food and medical supplies for distribution to those made destitute by the fighting. Just south of the port is the old hotel district. The PLO has already moved out, but another guerrilla force has started to move in. The Murabitoun, a left-wing Lebanese militia which claims a fighting force of about 5,000 men. An artillery piece and a rocket launcher were set up. The Murabitoun and their left-wing allies are also reinforcing their units at the parliament buildings between East and West Beirut. These people here say they are not going to move, and they say they're going to fight until the Israelis are gone from Lebanon. The PLO fighters are supposed to leave their heavy weapons behind when they pull out. Under the terms of the peace deal, they're supposed to go to the Lebanese army. But it's believed that much of the PLO's hardware will wind up in the hands of the Lebanese leftists who fought alongside them against the Israelis. Vic Aiken, NBC News, West Beirut.
Before the PLO returned those 2 captured Israelis, it gave them a tour of West Beirut neighborhoods severely damaged by Israeli attacks. And then the captives were released for emotional homecomings. The young soldier captured just 2 days ago was engulfed by family and friends. And the pilot, Aaron Ahia, said that he was treated well by the PLO during his 75-day captivity. In Larnaca, Cyprus today, French troops, part of that international peacekeeping force, which will move into Beirut, boarded a ship for the trip to Lebanon. The French forces, to be joined by Italians and Americans, are expected to arrive at the port tonight. And the first units of the PLO fighters are expected to leave through the Beirut port sometime tomorrow or Sunday. Roger?
President Reagan today agreed to send in the Marines. About 800 of them now aboard the carrier Independence off the coast of Lebanon will enter Beirut next week. Judy Woodruff reports from the White House.
With virtually all the details of the Beirut plan worked out, the president went into the Rose Garden to make the announcement.
Our purpose will be to assist the Lebanese armed forces in carrying out their responsibility for ensuring the departure of PLO leaders, officers, and combatants in Beirut from Lebanese territory under safe and orderly conditions. In the days ahead, they and forces from France and Italy will be playing an important but carefully limited non-combatant role.
Mr. Reagan was asked if that meant U.S. troops would be withdrawn if they are shot at.
Yes. Yes.
Fearing that might be an invitation to fire on U.S. troops, administration officials made sure that Secretary of State Schultz later clarified his boss's remark.
The president was not referring to some stray shot by some kook that might be fired. We will stay there as long as that process is going forward and as long as the basic conditions envisaged for our forces remain in effect.
At the Pentagon, a spokesman clarified even further.
If a person is fired upon, he can return fire.
Some members of Congress were satisfied that American troops would be protected. Others said the situation was fraught with danger.
We don't want to be attending funerals over in Arlington one of these days of people shipped back to our own shores out of the carnage that we've already witnessed there in Beirut.
The agreement provides for 5 ships of a U.S. Marine amphibious force to begin escorting private vessels carrying Palestinian fighters out of Beirut this weekend, and around the middle of next week for 800 Marines to take up positions on the ground along the so-called Green Line separating West and East Beirut. The president said in no case will the forces stay longer than 30 days. Administration officials admit that there is some risk involved for the Marines, but they insist the risk is worth it and claim that the only alternative was the Israeli destruction of West Beirut, something they believe would have been a catastrophe for the Middle East and for U.S. foreign policy. Judy Woodruff, NBC News at the White House.
Both the Lebanese crisis and the tax bill forced President Reagan to delay his California vacation by more than a week. So today, with both behind him, the president got out of town quickly. He flew to Phoenix to join his wife for a memorial service for her 86-year-old father, Dr. Loyal Davis, who died yesterday and has been cremated. The president and Mrs. Reagan will spend tonight at the Davis home in suburban Scottsdale, and then tomorrow fly on to California for 2.5 weeks on their ranch.
Imagine the problems you'd have if you lost your traveler's checks and wallet overseas.
I want to cancel my credit cards. I want to send a cablegram. Rapido Speedo. Hello? I have no cash.
If you want the only traveler's check with 5 services to help protect your vacation, American Express is worth asking for by name.
I should have asked for American Express.
Prego.
Nice, very nice.
Thank you. 1 rehearsal, 4 actors, and 20 coffee cups. Around here, we don't like coffee, we love it. I look forward to my 6th cup as much as my first one. That's because my coffee's High Point decaffeinated. I don't need caffeine, I'm active enough, thank you. But that's just one reason this coffee lover chooses High Point. Oh, that aroma's wonderful. Just look at this deep, rich color. But you know what really matters to a coffee lover? This. Oh, yes, deep and rich. Flavor this good has to be deep brewed into a coffee. And that's exactly what High Point does.
2 minutes, Miss McCall.
Oh, deep brewed flavor. I think you'll really go for it. Any coffee lover would.
Try High Point, the coffee lover's decaffeinated.
Oh, yes.
The prime rate took another healthy dive today to 13.5%. Chase Manhattan was the first big bank to lower the rate, and several more across the country then followed. All of that helped fuel another big day on Wall Street. It was the 2nd busiest trading day in history. When the bell signaled the end of trading today, it closed out a remarkable week. Today, the Dow was up 30.72 and nearly 96 million shares were traded, which means that in the 5 days of this week, the Dow was up a total of 81.24 points and nearly 500 million shares were traded, 455 million. That's a lot of money changing hands. While it was a great week for Wall Street, it was a terrible week for Mexico and its peso. The peso problems are so great, Mexico is unable to make payments on $10 billion worth of debt. So today, American bankers came up with an emergency rescue plan. More from Mike Jensen.
More than 100 bankers from all over the world gathered at the Federal Reserve Bank in New York today, and by the time their 2-hour meeting was over, they had given Mexico's faltering economy a temporary reprieve. Mexico is in such bad financial shape that it can't make payments on much of its $75 billion worth of foreign debt. So Mexico's finance minister, Jesus Silva Herzog, came to New York to plead for more time.
We have been facing a liquidity problem, a cash problem.
Herzog asked that the $10 billion in bank debt that falls due in the next 90 days be automatically renewed for another 90 days. The bankers said they'd go along with him.
Was there any expression made by the bankers at the meeting of their willingness or unwillingness to accept this?
All those who have spoken have expressed their willingness.
For their part, the bankers were reassured by the Mexicans that interest payments would be made.
Interest payments have always been and will continue to be made promptly when due.
The Mexican peso has fallen dramatically. It's worth about a fourth of what it was 6 months ago. That's because Mexico is getting less for its oil and other products, paying higher interest on its loans, and spending more than it's taking in. All this has created a cash crisis in Mexico, unable to pay off its foreign debt, which is the highest of any developing country. The crisis eased today, not because the bankers were particularly sympathetic to Mexico, but because if they foreclosed, they'd get little or nothing. For the moment, Mexico is in the driver's seat.
There's a saying on Wall Street that if you owe a bank $100, the bank owns you. But if you owe the bank $100 million, you own the bank. Mike Jensen, NBC News, New York.
Governor Jerry Brown of California has asked the Reagan administration to declare that businesses in San Diego and Imperial counties in the Mexican border area are eligible for federal low-interest loans. The collapse of the peso has helped collapse business. Dennis Murphy reports from Calexico, California.
Calexico, California. Until 2 weeks ago, Mexicans shopped here for groceries and bargains. They kept the U.S. border town of 15,000 alive. They bought men's clothes at Garland's.
I walked by the other day to make sure the border was still open. It was. There wasn't anybody coming across.
On the other side is Mexicali, population about 750,000. At today's rates, the peso is worth a fraction of what it was a month ago. That explains why there's plenty of parking at stores on the American side of the border. The aisles are nearly empty. 300 employees at this one store have been laid off.
But 80%. Business dropped 80%.
Unemployment is normally high in this agricultural town, but now the Calexico jobless rate is 27%, mostly retail shop employees.
They're expecting some of the businesses to shut down unless we do something about the economy. We're not getting any business from across the line.
What the merchants want is help from the federal government, low-interest loans. While the peso may not be crossing the border, the economic crisis is. Dennis Murphy, NBC News, Calexico, California.
And the Agriculture Department announced today the Soviet Union has agreed to a one-year extension of the grain deal. Agriculture Secretary Block said the extension will allow American farmers to continue building this important market, which he said was thrown away during the Carter administration embargo. American farmers in the politically important Farm Belt currently have huge surpluses of grain they need to unload to head off economic disaster.
Arthritis pain sufferers. Do you know millions of you can take aspirin, even if your stomach is aspirin sensitive, because there's Ecotrin. Look, Ecotrin is not the aspirin substitute. It's aspirin. But Ecotrin helps protect you from aspirin stomach upset with this orange safety coating. Now you can take what doctors recommend most for minor pain, aspirin, but without all aspirin stomach upset. Ecotrin, it's strong. It's orange.
The Uniroyal Tiger Paw gives you a jump on that tough, twisting road in any weather. The Tiger Paw's tough, all-weather tread helps you grab that rainy, slippery road and keeps right on purring. To tame that road, it takes careful driving and the steel-belted Tiger Paw. Let it loose on your car. Uniroyal, we give you more to go on.
Kraft announces a dressing idea so new, it sizzles. A taste so fresh, it's juicy. New bacon and tomato dressing. It just had to be Kraft. With real bacon, crisp and savory. Real tomato chopped in bits, and a touch of sour cream. If you think it sounds good, just wait till you taste it. New bacon and tomato dressing. For a better twist on taste, America turns to Kraft.
An angry customer opened fire in a Miami machine shop today, killing 8 people. The 51-year-old gunman was run down and killed minutes later by a driver who apparently was chasing him. The massacre was the worst ever in a city with a high murder rate, the highest in the country. Bonnie Anderson reports.
This man is one of 8 people shot and killed late this morning in a Miami crane and welding shop. Police say the gunman entered the shop, fired a sawed-off shotgun 3 or 4 times, and then walked outside. Police say 6 employees were killed immediately, and 3 people were wounded before the gunman got away on his bicycle. 2 others died on the way to the hospital.
was a tragedy. This fellow that came out, he just had absolutely no expression on his face. It was, you know, as if he was taking a casual stroll, and he got on that bike like he was off for a Sunday stroll on his bicycle.
These two men who work in the area jumped into a car and chased the gunman. A half-mile away from the shooting scene, they ran him over and killed him. Police say the gunman yesterday threatened to kill the welding shop employees during an argument over repair work on his bike. The threat was not taken seriously. Bonnie Anderson, NBC News, Miami.
And Hector and Rosalie Jean Zavalos reappeared this morning after they were reported kidnapped a week ago by a militant anti-abortion group. The Zavalos run an abortion clinic in southern Illinois, and the FBI is taking their story seriously. Roger O'Neill has this story.
Dr. Zavalos and his wife walked home after their captors released them. The two were abducted 7 days ago. A group calling itself the Army of God, a radical anti-abortion group, claims to have done it. The Zavaloses wouldn't say anything today. It's reported they were blindfolded the entire week.
They were not physically harmed at all. We have some leads that we're working on.
Do you have any suspects in mind?
No.
The Zavaloses were released at a motel less than a mile and a half from their home about 5 this morning. Their two children were astonished when the couple walked in the door 15 minutes later. Neighbors said it was a tearful reunion.
All we did was hug and tears, and that was it.
2 days ago, the FBI admitted it was baffled by the kidnapping, and they appealed to the Army of God group to call.
But we must establish contact.
The kidnappers never called. The Army of God is suspected of setting arson fires at 2 abortion clinics in Florida and possibly a fire at the New Hope Clinic for Women owned by Dr. Zavalos. But police know little more about the group than that. Roger O'Neill, NBC News, Edwardsville, Illinois.
And in California, police are looking for 3 kidnappers who reportedly demanded a $1 million ransom and then abandoned their captives unharmed. The victims were the wife and daughter of the owner of the San Jose Earthquakes soccer team. They were left in the trunk of their Lincoln Continental, which the abductors had used as a getaway car. Roger?
A fire of unknown origin last night caused $500,000 worth of damage to a synagogue in Everett, Massachusetts. Although the synagogue was destroyed, the sacred Torahs were rescued. Nancy Fernandez reports.
Congregation Tifereth Israel was engulfed in flames when firefighters answered the first alarm at 9:15 last night. The fire was out of control. 6 more alarms were sounded, and fire companies from 15 surrounding communities were called in. Members of the congregation watched as the building burned. 2 men tried to enter the synagogue at the height of the blaze. They wanted to save the Torahs, scrolls of Jewish law, and other sacred articles. But firefighters kept them out. 3 Catholic Fire Department chaplains volunteered to try. The 3 went inside. An Everett fire captain handed 3 scrolls to members of the congregation. Then, an explosion. The chaplains escaped serious injury. They re-entered the temple 4 times and saved the remaining scrolls. This morning, as members of the congregation cleaned up, one of the chaplains said he had acted instinctively.
They were very important, very significant for the congregation, so we just did our job.
Members of Tifereth Israel have vowed to rebuild. Nancy Fernandez, NBC News.
In the plain pockets jeans. He appreciates jeans that fit comfortably and look good without frills or fancy stitching. He demands jeans made of tough, durable denim. He's the man who knows there's more to quality than an inflated price tag. Plain pockets are now on sale for just $10.99. The bold good looks of the man in the plain pockets jeans. Only at JCPenney.
I used a whole box of tissues today.
For hay fever and summer colds, 6612's your answer.
6612? For hay fever?
Right. These help 6 symptoms. This one's 6.
And Dristan relieves 12? That's just TV talk.
It's true. ARM or Allerest help these 6 symptoms. Contact the same 6. But Dristan relieves sneezing, runny nose, headache, all 12 of them.
I'll try it for my hay fever.
Tablets or capsules, Dristan relieves 12 cold and hay fever symptoms.
Make it comfortable. Good.
That was comfortable.
I've been giving my daughter tips on driving. And here's another important one. If you drive a car, you need premium performance tires. So I put Bridgestone Super Filler radios on Leslie's car. The hard rubber super filler here lets the sidewall flex, so you get a big footprint of rubber for cornering, braking, handling, and comfort too.
They're comfortable, Pop, and they're performers.
That's right. You can feel it when you drive. Bridgestone super filler steel belted radials. See the yellow pages for a Bridgestone dealer near you.
The Congress, now in recess until after the Labor Day holiday, passed a $98 billion tax bill last night, but we'll probably never know the total dollar figure on the deals that were cut to pass it. Lisa Myers, however, has unearthed one deal to help the ailing steel industry that added to the total.
Thank you very much.
It wasn't there when the conferees adjourned early Sunday morning. They hadn't even discussed it. But included in the final version of the bill is this special provision for the steel industry, which cost the Treasury $160 million. The special rule gives steel companies an extra year to take advantage of a controversial provision allowing unprofitable companies to sell their tax breaks to money-making firms. It was added at the behest of House Ways and Means Chairman Dan Rostenkowski, added strictly to get votes.
I received a call from Chairman Rostenkowski on Monday evening saying this is very important, we're going to have to address it. He thought there were a dozen votes, 8 to 10 to 12 votes in the wings if in fact we could make that change.
Finance Chairman Dole said he called Senate conferees and none objected. House Republican Barbara Conable said he protested, but to no avail. Another conferee, Republican Bill Archer, said he too would have objected, but didn't learn the break was slipped in until it was too late.
I think it's extremely unusual for something of this magnitude to occur that involves $160 million in revenue.
House sources said that $160 million helped Rostenkowski pick up 8 votes from steel districts, including that of Democrat Adam Benjamin, who represents Gary, Indiana. Buying votes through special provisions of a tax bill isn't unusual. But it is highly unusual for such a major break to be added as a result of harried telephone calls late at night. And even by congressional standards, $20 million a vote isn't cheap. Lisa Myers, NBC News at the Capitol.
And the Senate today approved by voice vote a $14.6 billion supplemental appropriations bill. Andrea Mitchell of NBC News says the president will veto the measure because it is over budget. The bill contains money for civilian and military payrolls, as well as $350 million the administration wants for economic aid to the Caribbean. Tom?
Even with the good news on Wall Street this week and the bipartisan work on that tax hike, the American economy is not yet out of the woods. And in his commentary tonight, John Chancellor looks at something else that the Congress did this week, something that may not help the economy at all. John?
Here's the situation. The American economy is in terrible shape. It looks like West Beirut. Something has to be done to keep it from going down the drain. Well, something big like an increase in taxes of more than $100 billion over 3 years. That's what the president demanded, that's what the Democrats supported, and that's what the taxpayers got yesterday. $100 billion in new taxes. The experts say the taxes are needed to save the country from cannibalistic deficits, which could send everybody to the poorhouse. Let us accept that argument. The tax increase is needed. But while people were talking taxes this week, something else happened which tells us a lot about how things are being run these days. Every year, the Congress passes something called the Defense Authorization Act. For the current fiscal year, the legislation authorizes $131 billion for the Defense Department. And this week, by sizable margins, the Congress approved $178 billion for fiscal 1983, the biggest defense authorization bill in history. The bill passed this week is an increase of $47 billion over last year's authorization. Something out of kilter? The taxpayers are being told to shell out $100 billion over 3 years to save the country from economic ruin, while the Congress okays $178 billion for a single year's defense spending. This tells us something about our priorities. Nobody's against a strong defense, but does it have to cost that much at this time?
When you get it,
itchy red skin.
Get Cordaid, Cordaid. When you get it,
darn bug.
Get Cordaid, Cordaid. When you get it,
oh, touch of poison ivy.
Get Cordaid, Cordaid.
Cordaid gently works with your body's natural defenses. It's all you need for the relief of dermatitis and other minor itches and rashes.
When you get it,
itchy eczema.
Get Cordaid, Cordaid.
This could be just another year for you, or the year of the century, the new Buick Century. Its front-wheel drive could pull you merrily through the winter's snow. Its four-cylinder engine, available V6 gasoline or diesel, could splash through spring with exceptional mileage. And its roomy dimensions could carry a family of 5 with luggage through the wonderful days of summer. Buick's new Century.
Save up to $400 on new 82 Centuries, now during Buick Value Days.
From land to lakes country, coming home.
Home to the good things.
Coming home.
Home to good fresh country flavors like buttery tasting Land O'Lakes margarine. Tastes dairy fresh because it's made with fresh skim milk.
Coming home to the buttery flavor, to a taste you'll understand. Come on home to the margarine that comes from Butterland.
Land O'Lakes margarine, from America's #1 butter maker.
It's hard to realize that it was Carl Yastrzemski who replaced the legendary Ted Williams in the Boston Red Sox lineup 22 years ago. Only Yaz could have helped Boston forget Ted Williams. Yaz is the only American leaguer ever to get 3,000 hits and 400 home runs, the only one. Yaz will be 43 on Sunday, and Lee McCarthy helps him celebrate.
The first baseman, number 8, Carl Yastrzemski.
Carl Yastrzemski, Yaz. A middle-aged man playing a young man's game in a young man's body. At 43, Yastrzemski is in better shape than most of his young teammates. An all-star 17 times, he attributes his endurance to a year-round conditioning program and a durable body.
I've only been on a disabled list one time in 22 years. Of course, without any major injury, that's been a help. And there's just something inside that drives me. Seems to pull that little extra out of me. It's hard to explain. It's just that you never want to give in, and the big thing is that you don't want to embarrass yourself or the ball club on the field.
As a concession to age, Yastrzemski moved from left field to first base in 1980. This year, he has been used mostly as a designated hitter. In the first half of the season, Yaz kept his average near 300, and the Red Sox near first place. He still frightens pitchers almost half his age.
You know, he doesn't show any signs of slowing up. You still can't throw the fastball by him consistently. You can't throw him breaking balls consistently and get him out. He's just amazing. I can't say enough about the guy. He's still one of the toughest out on me in the league.
Yastrzemski, not the Red Sox, will decide when quitting time has come.
Oh, I know when. When your reflexes slow down, you know you can't get the pitches that you should get to. That's a pretty good barometer. I won't ever manage to be a full-time coach. I just had my fill of travel. I want to do some of the things in life that I've always wanted to do. I've just put too much time into baseball.
For baseball fans, it has been time well spent. Lee McCarthy, NBC News, Boston.
That's Nightly News for Friday. I'm Roger Mudd in Washington.
And I'm Tom Brokaw in New York. Happy birthday, Yaz. And from all of us at NBC News, all of you, have a nice weekend.
Secretary of State George Shultz gives his first television interview on Meet the Press this Sunday at a special time, 12 noon Eastern Daylight.
Patient is missing and you don't notify security?
I thought I could handle it. This is good.
You like that?
Mm-hmm.
It's a very stupid way for a little boy to die.
Coming up in just a minute on the scene at 6. The son of a prominent Nashvilleian pleads guilty to selling stolen jewelry in Arizona. Thousands of Nashville youngsters return to classrooms as the metro school system begins a new year. And after 1 year, the kidnapper of this teenage couple remains at large. We'll have a report on the progress of the investigation into the abduction of Joan Sorachi and Ken Nichols.
These stories and more news coming up on The Scene at 6.
Fred's back-to-school sale means savings. From Mud Island, the South's newest attraction, Fred's introduces the newest in quality jeans. Keyline Corral. Rugged as Old Man River.